Hey friend, welcome to the Playful Art and Heart podcast. I'm Janice, artist and founder of Hamletta Studios. And honestly, I'm just trying to juggle life, art, and self-care without losing my mind. Around here, we talk about escaping overwhelm, putting ourselves first, and adding more play and creativity into everyday life. It's part reflection, part pep talk, and a reminder that it's okay to figure things out as you go. Hello, and welcome back to the Playful Art and Heart podcast. My name is Janice, and I am so happy you are here with me today. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about knowing what you know now when you are older. Are you able to pinpoint something that you knew you were drawn to as an adolescent? And you look back and you think, gosh, if only I had. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my own story. When I was 18, I have this very clear memory of the summer before college. And I was going to attend a university that I was just okay with. I didn't feel any way about it. I got in, I accepted, and that was kind of it. And I knew that I was not going to study what I really wanted to study. And therefore, my enthusiasm for going to college and studying whatever it was that I was going to study was not very high. I just didn't have a lot of motivation. I was told my whole life that you need to study something practical. You need to be able to find a job and you need to not pursue what you truly want. And at that time, it was art. I knew deep in my soul so much that I loved art and that I wanted to study art. So much so that when I was a senior in college and everybody was applying to college, I remember going online and going to every single art college website and requesting that they send me an informational packet in the mail. This was 20 years ago, 20 something years ago, maybe now. And that was just how it was done back then. I mean, they had a website and everything, but they were also willing to mail you an informational packet. And so I would collect all these brochures and I would stare at them. I would look at them. I would look through all the course descriptions, all the programs, all the degrees that they offer. And I would just dream about maybe I could do that. But I knew the reality that I lived in would not allow me to do that kind of thing. I knew that in order to quote unquote be realistic and have a financially stable life, that I would need to pursue something that's not the arts, because I've been fed a lie my entire life that the arts cannot make you any money. And I just remember feeling really, really sad. I would also, I mean, most art colleges are private schools, and the tuition cost was way more than what my family could afford. I only applied to public universities in my home state because I knew that that was all that we could realistically afford, and therefore my possibility of going to an arts college somewhere else in a different state, in a different part of the country. I even looked at colleges outside the country, but I knew that that was all just a pipe dream. And I just look back and I think, gosh, that is so sad. I was only 17, 18, and now you look back. Well, now that I look back, I realize how really young I was and how sad it was that I had already accepted this sad fate that I would never reach the potential I wanted to in the field that I wanted to. Anyways, as I was saying, when I was 18, that summer before college, I was not particularly happy about the prospect of going to college. I spent so many hours that summer art journaling, and that was before I even knew the term art journaling. I had a sketchbook, and I had a lot of magazines because back in the day, we would all have a lot of these magazines sitting around. I would always pick up YM magazine or, like, I had a lot of J14 magazines. I was a typical teenager. Maybe there was Cosmo Girl or Teen Vogue or any of those. So I used a lot of those, and I would cut up and collage and draw. I would print out photographs of TV shows or movies that I had watched. I would write about how I felt, and I would collage pictures that showed my emotions. And I just remember feeling so happy in that moment doing that kind of art and having this beautiful big book of things to look back on that I would always remember how I felt that summer before college. And fast forward to college and after college, I don't think I did a whole lot of art journaling. I would sketch. I had planners that I would doodle in. I certainly doodled in the margins of my notebooks during lectures. I also did journal. I would write. I would cut and paste newspaper articles and things, but nothing too artsy. I think life was too busy at the time. And that, looking back, I know that's now an excuse. Life is always going to be too busy if you don't prioritize the things that are important to you. And I just think it is so ironic. 20 years later, right now I am 37 years old. So 17, when I was 17, 20 years ago, that was the summer that I was furiously art journaling, feeling sad and mopey about not being able to lead the life that I really wanted to lead. And here I am, 20 years later, obsessed with art journaling. And I only found art journaling again maybe a few years ago. I just love the idea of not feeling it needs to be perfect, doesn't need to be a beautiful work of art. It's just the actual process of making art in a journal is cathartic. You get to release your emotions, you get to know yourself better, you get to remember the good memories, and you get to be creative and create something beautiful. It doesn't actually have to be beautiful, but beautiful to me in the moment and fun to do. It's all in the process. And I only came back to it when I felt like I was really overwhelmed by life. So my story is I, in college, I studied a field that felt practical at the time and then realized that, I graduated right at the Great Recession. There were no jobs in any real field. And I ended up going back to graduate school and I ended up with a job in public service and I actually really did love that job. But 2 kids later and a pandemic, I realized how much working a full-time office job was keeping me away from my kids, and the pandemic really showed me how much I adore being there for my little babies. And this maternal side of me came on really strong, especially after my second baby was born. Because I think with the first one, you don't know what you're getting into. But with the second one, you know just how fast time goes with the first one. And I didn't want to miss a single second with my second one. And so after my maternity leave, I ended up crying myself to sleep every single night. Every single night. I was just so sad to leave my baby every single day. And this was still in the peak of the pandemic and we were still working from home, but working from home still meant I had to take meetings, I had deadlines, and I couldn't be there for my baby when I wanted to be. And it was really tough. And so we made a decision for me to stay home with the kids. It was not easy financially, but we had always lived below our means. And as a result, it was still manageable. And things ended up working out. I am still home with them today. Fast forward years later, they are now 4 and 7 years old. And we decided to homeschool them. This is a whole separate conversation. But I'm in a much happier place. But in the thick of it, if anybody has ever stayed home with children, they know it's zero fun walk in the park kind of life because you have no sick days. You can't call in sick. You can't say, I can't show up to work today and take take a day off. There is no time off. There are no work hours. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? And as wonderful and as happy and fulfilled that I was feeling, a part of me felt like maybe I'm losing a part of myself by giving so much to my kids. But I had no regrets about giving so much to them because I know I was giving my very best. And I knew that myself and my energy is really, really valuable. And if I gave my kids that energy, it would come back tenfold. And it already has. They're amazing and I love them and we have such a good relationship. But somewhere along the way, I feel like, well, there's more to this, right? There's more. I have so much more potential than just raising my kids. And I knew that that season of my life needed, like my energy was needed with them. And I'm happy that I gave it to them. But what else is there? And so it took a lot of deep reflection and me opening back up a sketchbook and deciding to draw again and using all my art supplies. It's not like in those 20 years I didn't pick up art supplies because, gosh, I love art supplies. I love sketchbooks. I'm obsessed with stationery. I love pens. I love markers. I love paints and watercolors, pastels, anything. I loved it. And so I just decided to play again. I decided to give myself permission to play an art journal again. And it is so fun because I ended up drawing little sketches of what happened to me. If you have ever dealt with two little kids, you know there is a high chance that you've experienced both kids melting down, having a tantrum while you're outside somewhere. And that happened to me many, many, many times when I'm by myself, trying to wrangle two kids at the park, a store, whatever it may be. And I would draw about those experiences in my journal. And no, they didn't look pretty and they didn't need to look pretty, but it felt good to get that down on paper. And I know that one day I'm going to look back and remember those moments and remember those big emotions that I felt. And how fun is that to be able to look back on that one day? I think that's fun. So, anyways, I loved coming back to art journaling, and it really gave me a medium for self discovery, like really trying to figure out who I am, what is my story that I tell myself, and how can I change that story? Because my life kept transforming. Like life is not stagnant. Like things change. And I wanted to understand what the next chapter of my life was going to look like. I knew I wanted more. As happy and fulfilled as I am with my children at home, I knew I had more to give. I had a lot of creativity bottled up, and I know that I have more to offer. And so I decided to start my art business. I decided to invest in myself. I took classes. I learned about art. I learned about running businesses. I learned about art journaling. And I did a lot of internal work on myself, personal development. I read a ton of books. And now that I have that perspective, I just want to share with everybody who may feel in that same position that I felt, where you're like, okay, life is a lot. I know I have more to give. I know I'm a creative being. I want to get back into it, but I don't know how. As women, especially, we give so much to people around us. I give so much to my children. I give so much to my husband. I give so much to my family, to my parents, to other people in my life, my friends. And sometimes you've got to take life by the reins and say, what about me? And I had an epiphany moment where it's like, okay, it's time to focus on me. And the way I grew up, it was always revered, like to give yourself to other people, to be so kind and generous and altruistic. Those are the kind of qualities you want in somebody. But at some point, you need to set a boundary for yourself and realize that, hey, I'm important too, and I need to put myself first sometimes. And it's not wrong to put myself first, because when I look after me, everybody else is also taken care of. And that is a lesson I've had to learn over and over again in my life. And I feel like now I'm finally at peace with knowing that if I put myself first, it will pay back tenfold to the people around me when I take care of me, because the people around me will experience a healthier version of me. Not someone who's burnt out, exhausted, tired all the time, but someone who is happy and joyful and excited with a zest for life, because now I'm motivated to do something bigger. Like, I'm dreaming bigger, and I am deciding to go out into the world and make connections and put myself out there and not care, honestly, about what the people in my life may think or judge. And I think a lot of that took a lot of self growth, and that self growth came from a lot of art journaling. And so, with that, I am so excited to share that the Art and Heart Club is officially launching this coming Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. This is a creative sanctuary and heart-led community for women ready to reconnect with themselves through playful art journaling, soulful connection, and unapologetic self-expression. Inside the club, we're going to explore the art of self-discovery, the art of self-expression, and the art of self-trust together. And here's what makes this founding group so special. You are going to help me build this. I'm creating a living, breathing playbook with art journaling, prompts, and activities, and I want your input. I want to know what resonates with you, what you need, what lights you up. This is our community, and I want you to be a part of shaping it from day one. And here's the thing, I'm offering a special founder's rate that's only available through the end of April. This is for the women who want to be part of building this community from the ground up, the ones who are ready to say yes to themselves right now. If you've been waiting for a sign to prioritize yourself, to reconnect with your creativity, and to join a community of women who truly get it, this is it. This Tuesday, April 21st. Head to the show notes right now and click the link to join Art and Heart Club. I cannot wait to journal with you, connect with you, co-create with you, and watch you rediscover the creative, joyful version of yourself that's been waiting to come out. So that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful, playful week ahead.